All righty.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet. And on the phone with me today, I have Olivia Grisham, and we are going to talk about any questions and things that you have going on with your Epic dashboard. So Olivia's already got her screen pulled up, and we will get going with the dashboard items.
Alrighty, so I'm going to just run through our enrolled dashboard and our iStep. I kind of was just taking a look at it, and we have gotten a lot of areas cleaned up that were getting kind of full last webinar. So the first area we have is this referral pending 2151 past due. We have 3 customers in this area. It was like 21 or 31, so we got all of those cleaned up, and the 3 that are in there are new. So thank you guys very much for getting those taken care of. So if you have customers in this row, it's 2 of our CBOs, you're going to need to re-invite the customer for an initial orientation appointment by removing the appointment they have on the progress page. Let me see if I can pull test up here and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is test. Ooh, this is customer. It's not going to work. See if this customer will work.
I don't think anybody on that first page will work, Olivia.
You don't think so? Okay.
You're going to have to go to
Here.
a further down page.
Okay, so for customers who do not have a 2151 uploaded with services initiated and they haven't been enrolled, we'll have this red remove appointment button. So what you're going to need to do if you have customers and you missed the 48-hour window to upload that 2151 and they were a no contact, you're going to have to come in here and click this remove appointment button. And when you do that, it's going to ask you to confirm you want to remove the appointment, and you'll click Remove Appointment again. And then you will go back to that section. And this is test, so we only have 1 future appointment in here. But this will populate a whole list of appointments that the CBO has entered in that you guys can pick from. It's obviously the appointments you have entered. So then you will click Set Appointment, and it will reset them with that new future appointment date. And that will reset your 48-hour clock so you can make sure you can get that uploaded in time the second time around. If the customer was a no contact and doesn't have that uploaded within 48 hours, the DHS cannot do conciliation with the customer, so that is why we have to have you redo that appointment. The next row, go ahead.
Wait a minute, Olivia. If the 48 hours was a weekend, then as long as you get it up by Monday, that's okay.
Yeah. The next row is the referral accepted and enrollment started, enrollment required. We have 29 customers in here, which isn't too bad. Just make sure that if you have initiated services with the customer and you are engaging them in activities, that you are getting them enrolled. Until a customer has been enrolled, you cannot upload a 2151A or exit the customer, and I'm going to go over that later. But you can't really do a whole lot with this customer until you've marked them as enrolled because their iStep won't open. Their 2151As aren't seen as anything because you haven't accepted them into your location. So it's really important that you're getting them enrolled as quickly as possible after you've initiated services with them. Okay, and our third row, as the CBO needs to upload past due. Guys, we still have 73 customers who are missing a 2151A, and it is the 21st of the month, so we're way overdue. I know we have 2 CBOs, Region 3. You guys really need to make sure you're getting those uploaded. And then we have a couple in Region 1 as well that are missing some 2151As, and we will be reaching out to you and seeing if you can get those uploaded in a timely manner. But those are way past due, so these need to be done as soon as possible. If you can have this a 0 by the end of the week, that would be great.
Now, I did notice, and I was looking at this and spoke with our programmer today, there are a few people who were enrolled this month that are showing up in that list. So if that's the case, with you, if they were enrolled in the month of June, then you don't have to worry about it. But if they were enrolled any other time, then you do need to complete the 20.
If they were enrolled in the month of June, they need to upload that initial 2151A after they enroll them. Every customer.
The initial one, the plan.
Yeah, and that will get you out of that row.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so nobody should be in that row, regardless of when the customer was enrolled.
Right.
Alrighty, so our next row then is the DHS indicated SNAP and eligible CBO action required. We have 112 customers who have been marked as no longer SNAP eligible by DHS after they were enrolled with a CBO. So what we are doing is we are having our CBOs exit those customers so they don't accidentally continue to get served because we can only serve customers with SNAP benefits. So what you will do for those customers is you will come in and their completion bar up here will be a bright red, and you're just going to mark them as did not complete, not SNAP eligible, and then you'll put the date that you'll look in the case notes, and there will be a case note. Here, I'll show you really quickly. There will be a case note left saying the customer was not SNAP eligible, and you're going to use that date as the exit date. So then you would put that in here as 6/21/2017 or whatever date that case note was left on. And you'll mark them as complete, and then your last step is to upload that 2151A with the completion box checked, and then that will move them out of that yellow row and into the red no longer SNAP eligible row. And we'll use this completed box, and you can also check the program completed box. So do you guys have any questions at all on any of the rows in the enrolled dashboard?
What's your question about the enrolled dashboard, Kelsey?
Oh, it looks like I missed a whole conversation over there.
Yeah, but I've been handling most of it.
Okay.
What are you saying about the customers go in and out of SNAP eligibility? They go in and out of SNAP eligibility like the first of the month if they are out of SNAP eligibility, if they are no longer eligible. Right. Yes, they get jobs, they lose jobs. Okay. They can't work with you if they're ineligible.
You can continue.
Kelsey, is this something that we can talk about Tuesday when I'm visiting with you guys?
For customers who become ineligible, any money you've already spent on them, say you've already paid for their training program or paid for a supportive service they're receiving, they can continue to participate in those services, but you cannot spend any more EPIC money on customers after they lose their benefits. You will not be reimbursed for money you spend on no longer SNAP eligible customers if it was properly updated in the system. But I think Kelsey's saying you're working with them not through EPIC, through a different capacity. They cannot receive any EPIC services while they're SNAP ineligible. But I think Dee will go over that more with you when she comes and visits.
After they are employed, Nancy, so if they have not completed, it's before they've finished their 90 days of employment, if the customer becomes SNAP ineligible, you cannot spend any additional money on the customer, meaning if it's your services or if you're paying tuition, you cannot disperse any more money for that customer if they are ineligible. If the customer is just walking in and using your computers, fine, that's up to you whether or not you want to let them do that or not. After the customer is employed and it's during their 90-day follow-up, you can still provide supportive services during that 90-day period, but you cannot spend any more training dollars on them. Does that make sense to everybody? And if so, please raise your hand with the little man at the top of the screen. Okay.
Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the iStep dashboard, and once I go through that, we'll come back over and answer any more questions that pop up in the chat pod. So for our iStep dashboard, as you guys all know, we have it broken down into the 3 different sections: personal development, career planning, and academic and training, just like we do on the iStep tab where you guys enter in the information. So for any of these 3 areas, if once a customer is finished completing all the steps they need to complete for personal development or career planning or academic and technical, you're going to mark them as complete. And you're going to do that, on each tab, depending which one they've completed. On the timeline and status section, you can mark them as complete. And each tab will have this section. So maybe they still have 2 open and 1's done. That way we'll know, we can easily see who is finished in what areas. Also, if a customer doesn't need any steps in this area, you've already assessed them and everything is good in the personal development, you can also mark them as complete. The same with academic and technical. All of our customers will need a career planning step of some sort. There may be 1 or 2 rare cases where they don't. So that section will more than likely only be marked as complete once they have finished all the steps in it. So that is one thing I wanted to go over with you guys. The second area I wanted to go over focuses a little more on this career planning section. We have 154 customers who've been had their iStep open, and they do not have a target occupation selected for them. So make sure when you're going in after you enroll your customers and you're going in to open those iSteps that you're going to the Career Planning tab and you're going to the Review Information / Goals and clicking Edit and going in and putting in their target pathway and then their target occupation. That way we know what their goals are, and we can, from the outside looking in, people can make sure the customer is getting the services and skills they need to help them develop in that career pathway. And then we also have in this career planning section 83 customers who have no steps identified. So if you have any customers in this row, you're going to want to make sure you're going in and getting some career planning steps added for them. They may not have started them yet. They may be something they're going to do in the future. You can still go in and add them, and you will just mark them as not started. And then once they begin that step, you can go in and mark it as started and put the start date. And then once they've finished, or if you accidentally add it, you can delete it. But once they've finished, regardless of if successful or unsuccessful, you'll come in and mark one of those options and put the end date in there as well. And then the same thing for the academic and technical training. We have quite a few customers who do not have any steps. Of those customers, 113 is complete, but that may also include customers who do have steps and have already completed them. So if you have customers in this row, make sure you're getting steps added in if they need them. If not, make sure you're going in and marking them as complete. And do you guys have any questions on the iStep?
No, but we do. Can you go back in and show how to mark someone as completed if the customer is marked as ineligible. Rosanna missed it.
Yes, I sure can.
Or Rosanna can go back and watch the recording once we post it. So
I can show really quickly because it is a good thing to make sure everybody is getting done when they can. So once the customer has been marked as ineligible by DHS, they are going to show up. And this is only for customers who have been enrolled by the CBO. If you guys have not enrolled them, you do not need to do anything if they lose their eligibility. They have another row right here. This is where they're going to go, and you don't have to exit them or do anything. But once they've gotten past this row and they're showing up down here and they're enrolled, once they lose their SNAP benefits, they are going to show up in this DHS indicated SNAP ineligible CBO action required row. You're just going to click on that number and then go into each of your customers and go to their progress page. And they'll have this big red bar. And then you're going to go to the completed information section, and you'll open that up. And you're going to mark it as did not complete, not SNAP eligible. And then you're going to put the completion date in. And that date is going to be the date you're going to check the case notes. And you'll see right here it says SNAP eligibility status updated to SNAP ineligible. You're going to use the date that goes along with that case note. And so you'll put that in this box right here, and then you will update that. And then it will refresh everything, and once you open it up, it'll have this red text here. And then you just need to upload a 2151A marked as complete, and that will complete the completion process for the customer.
And just so that you know, Olivia is in test right now, and we just changed the words on that to completed and did not complete. That is not live in production right now. So you would, until you see this screen pop up, it will say unsuccessful completion for that reason, for the
not SNAP eligible.
SNAP ineligible. And we should be pushing that out hopefully next week, because we've got some other changes and we're going to push them all out at one time.
Alrighty, and I do want to let everybody know why we're on the call. I am going to be out for 2 weeks starting next week. I'm going to be gone June
on her
26th. I am. I'm very excited. I'm going to be gone June 26th through July 10th. I'll be back on the 11th. So if you need anything, I'm going to have my out-of-office set with some people you can contact to get a hold of them. But Natasha, Dean, and Tammy are going to be your main contacts for those 2 weeks while I'm gone. And thank you guys very much. I'm very, very excited.
Okay. So are you done with the dashboards, young lady?
I am done with the dashboards. I can't remember what's next on the agenda, though.
No exit or upload 2151A unless enrolled.
Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to talk to you all about. I've been going in and looking at some of the dashboard numbers, and I noticed some of the numbers were getting thrown off somehow, and I figured out what the problem was. So what was happening is customers who are not marked as, hold on, let me find a different customer. Customers who have not been enrolled, and so they're marked as not enrolled on this training program enrollment page, they are not supposed to have any 2151As uploaded or be exited. So do not upload any 2151As for a customer or exit them until after you have accepted and enrolled them into your organization. The 2151As are the progress levels, and if they're not your customer, DHS gets really confused when you're saying they're making good or poor progress, but you haven't accepted them. Also, a customer should not be exited if they're not your customer. If we need to exit a customer or we need DHS to do it, we will have them do it or we will do it on our end. But as CBOs, you will not be exiting any customers that you have not enrolled unless specified by either me or Dee. So do you guys have any questions about that?
Okay, so what happens, for example, is in Freeport, they're all voluntary customers. And they may have been enrolled, but then all of a sudden, or even in a mandatory area, the customer becomes medically exempt. You've enrolled them, but now they need to be exited because they can't participate. So we will take care of all of that so that things are tracked appropriately. If the customer never shows up for an orientation, we are watching that line item much more closely so that we can stay on top of DHS following up on that. But what was happening was the CBOs were trying to reschedule people and getting through to the customers where DHS couldn't. They were rescheduling them, but then they weren't necessarily following the rescheduling process, and so they were enrolling them with an old schedule date, and things were just getting messed up in the numbers. So if there's any kind of a question, just contact Olivia or me or your primary contact at DHS, preferably Olivia or I, and then we can get things fixed up for you.
Yeah, and Nancy, for your questions, Nancy says, if they never show up and we never enroll them, but they are still listed as eligible, we do nothing with them. The only thing you're going to do for those customers is upload that 2151. You will always upload the 2151 after that appointment, but a lot of our CBOs were uploading no contact, and then they would go upload a 2151A with minimal progress. And DHS would call us and be like, well, it says they didn't show up, but it says they're making minimal progress. So is the CBO working with the customer? They were confused how you were deeming them a progress level if you never met with them.
And so.
And when I say you, I mean all CBOs, not anybody
right.
specifically. On this page.
The 2151 does not take in the system when I put no show on 2151. Are you having an issue getting it to upload? Is that what you're saying, Nancy? We had that. Okay, so it won't upload. All right, so it could potentially just be a glitch. If that happens again, please contact Olivia or I, and we'll make sure that it goes through, and we'll work with the programmer. All right, so now Kelsey says, please remind DHS that they can reach out to us whenever I, for one, as many more than willing to take those calls to avoid any confusion. Sure. One of the things, though, too, is to just make sure that you're uploading things the right way. What is the process when they go through the process once, sanction, and then DHS sends an email to send what? Send a conciliation notice to engage again. Autumn, remind me, are you in Region 5? Okay. The process is supposed to be, if the customer has been sanctioned, no matter where they are, well, obviously in a voluntary area they can't be sanctioned. No matter where in the state that they are sanctioned, then the DHS office will need to remove the initial appointment. This is as long as they were never engaged. They will need to remove the initial appointment and then reschedule them for another appointment. You don't have to send out the conciliation. If they have been engaged with you and then sanctioned and want to be re-engaged, they have to go through the intake process again, assuming that you still have spots in your training program for that customer. And if that's not what the understanding is in the DHS office, then we will make sure that that happens.
That's awesome that you've re-engaged so many people, Autumn.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty. I'm going to look at what's next on the agenda. Okay. Yes, if the customer is engaged, if you have enrolled them, and it kind of goes back to that whole enrollment piece. You only have to do conciliations for customers that you have enrolled into your organization. If you have not enrolled them, say you do the assessment portion and they stop coming, you can upload the 2151 with no contact and let them know, let DHS know that they need to be put through conciliation on DHS end. But once you have enrolled those customers and engaged them, then it will be on the CBO to do that initial conciliation appointment. And if they don't show or it doesn't go well, then that's when you'll recommend the sanction.
And if they do come to their conciliation appointment, please be very specific on the items that you want done on the 3392, because then if they do not follow their 3392, they can be immediately submitted for sanction again. And what I mean by very specific, if it's somebody in doing some training or something and they're not checking in with you during their training, they have to check in with you every 10 days. If they miss the first one, then you submit them for sanction. And I know you guys probably want to just keep them engaged, but if they're not doing what they say that they're supposed to be doing or what they agree to do, then they need to see the ramifications of this. Okay, next on the schedule is, or next on the agenda is schedule appointments out through September. So if you have not added intake orientation appointments through the end of the month of September, then please do that. We're hoping that we're done with the 5,000 by the end of August. Right now, I'm looking real quick here. Right now, at a state level, we are at, oh, my numbers aren't coming up. At a state level, we are at 4,150, so we only have 850 people to enroll at a state level, but we will be doing life after 5,000. So that way, we're working on how we're going to do that moving forward after we hit our goal. Olivia, you want to talk about success stories?
Yes. So now that we are further into the program, we're really hoping that we can get a lot of success stories from you guys so that we can get them uploaded onto our IL Epic webpage where our customers go to kind of figure out Epic, along with incorporating them in some of our social media posts so we can really get the word out there about Epic and what it is doing for our customers and how it has really benefited them and the positives they've seen with this program and different things this program can offer to them that maybe other programs can't. So please, please, please send me any success stories you have. You guys are also more than welcome to upload them yourselves on our website. I believe if you go to illinoisworknet.com/epicpartners, to our partner website.
Hang on.
Oh, thank you. So if you go to our partner page, I'm typing it in a chat pod.
IllinoisWorkNet.com/epicpartners.
Yep. You will go to the All Resources section, and you can click on the Success Stories. And when you get there, you can submit success stories, and you're going to submit it on behalf of your customer. So you're going to be a provider and submit your success stories this way. You can also have your participants or your customers upload their own success stories if they want to. That is perfectly fine. Or you can also send them to epic@illinoisworknet.com. You can also email them to the Epic Help Desk, and I can get them uploaded. One of the things that Success Story does ask for is a picture, and in the Epic Procedures Manual, you will find those forms that the customer needs to fill out in order to be able to share their picture and image and everything. Make sure that if you are when you do use an image with them, that you're getting a good image of their face. Make sure they look happy. I've gotten a couple where the customer looks very, very angry in the picture, and we don't want that showing for the success story. Try to get a good, professional, happy picture of the customer, maybe with a diploma or in their field where they're getting their training or something like that. But we are definitely wanting to get more of those in, so please send them my way and get them uploaded if you can.
All right. Tammy, do you want to talk about program and fiscal monitoring and grant modifications?
You bet. Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I was a little late. I had another webinar that had to be on. Just to add something to what Olivia was saying about success stories, anything like anecdotal that you've got too, that if you want to send, and then also if there's something that you're coming across, and once again you can send it to the epic@illinoisworknet.com, that are barriers, and I see Autumn's on. We had conversations, and some of the barriers that she's run across is like bad debt or student loan debt that is creating issues with even like, getting them Pell Grants and stuff. So if you're coming across circumstances with barriers, we would like to know those too, and see if we can work together on certain, ways of addressing those barriers, or if we can align you with other services that could help customers with those specific barriers. So if you come across stuff like that too, we want to know what that is, and we want to look for resources. How can we help? How can we help to eliminate certain types of barriers like that? So okay, so as far as monitoring, the fiscal monitors are going to be reaching out to you probably starting this month, and then starting to schedule visits for July, August, and September. There could be as many as 1 to 3 fiscal monitors coming out, and they could be there from 1 to 3 days. I anticipate it's probably going to be a day, unless they have a lot of stuff that they have to go through. It could be 2. But Chuck Dooley is our WIOA monitor, and he's the one that's spearheading this whole fiscal monitoring for us for these EPIC projects. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. He'll probably be reaching out to the individuals that are authorized signatories on your grants and the primary contacts that we have on our grant agreements to arrange these. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that this is going to occur. And then we do have our TA tool. It's finalized. It's being vetted for proofreading, and DHS is vetting it right now. But we anticipate that towards the middle of July, I anticipate, to the end of July is when we're going to start looking at doing our technical assistance visits. And then we'll have a monitoring visits that will occur probably towards the end of this year, first part of next year. That will be an official monitoring visit. But we want to use this tool and do TA visits first, just to right the ship if there's anything, especially with this being a pilot project. If there's anything that needs to be corrected, that we can take a look at it and correct what needs to be corrected before we actually do programmatic monitoring. But the fiscal monitoring will occur, and that's fiscal monitoring is pretty standard across all projects, so that will happen this summer. And then I've had several different calls regarding funding, grant agreements. Keep in mind that this is it will be a 2-year grant. We're going to be extending in July. We're going to be modifying everybody's grants. We're going to be extending the grant end date to probably the end of October of 2018. We're going to be looking at your budgets. We're going to be adding funds to those that need it based upon expenditures and performance. And then we're doing an evaluation, an internal evaluation too right now of our pay-for-performance model, and seeing if we do need to make an adjustment at that time too for that. This is a pretty heavy lift as far as the program is concerned on case management. So we're evaluating our pay-for-performance model right now too, and that could be potentially adjusted, during our modification process with the grants. So if you have any, okay, we got a few questions here.
Do we have to prepare in any way for the monitors? And I just said when we go out with the TA tool, we'll go over everything that will be covered by the monitoring so that we can get things fixed in advance. In most cases, what I've been doing recently is just going out and visiting the CBOs and going through the Epic dashboard and saying, okay, well, do you know how to do this? And kind of the things that we cover on the webinars, but in person so that we can look at particular customers. And I know that I think I've helped a couple of people, and that will hopefully help everybody down the road once we get out with the TA tool.
And Nancy, no, the TA tool will not include the fiscal. Our fiscal monitors have their own specific tool that they'll use, and it's a lot of what they're going to look at is your expenditures, and are they in line with what's allowable with the grant. They'll look at your trial balance. They're going to look at your fiscal processes and your fiscal procedures manual and make sure that they look at are you reconciling cash? Are you reconciling your account, your checking account? So it's pretty traditional. If you've ever been monitored by our fiscal auditors, a lot of that is pretty standard. It will be. It's going to be more streamlined than what they do on the WIOA side. There's they usually look at procurement, and we really don't have procurement on this, so that won't be looked at. Equipment purchases. I'm not going to be doing anything like that because we don't do equipment purchases. But it's, and like I said, Chuck Dooley will send out a note and let you know specifically what he needs, during the visit, the type of information to have available for the fiscal visit. And more than likely, you're going to want your fiscal staff involved with that. On the programmatic side, we're going to be looking at the program. So we're going to be looking at, policies and procedures that relate to DHS. We're going to look at your service delivery for the clients, and so that's what we'll be looking at. So hopefully that answered your question on that. And the TA tool, there will be a letter that will go out, and we'll prepare you for what we need to on the program visits.
Okay. Last thing, I've had this poll question up here, and I'm going to make it bigger, but I would really love for you guys to share any tools that you've used, especially online tools that we might be able to link in our OER resources. Olivia, do you want to explain what OER is?
Yeah, so OER is another website that we actually work on here with Illinois WorkNet, and it is where people can go and share resources, various different kinds of resources, whether it's web pages or PDFs. You can build learning lists or learning sets. You can compile these resources in a bunch of different ways. It's a really great tool. We use it a lot in Illinois WorkNet. We use, I don't know if you've ever seen the related resources where you can go in and it looks very similar to this. I know our money management page and everything is set up this way. But yeah, we are actually got a grant to continue on with OER, so we're really trying to beef it up and trying to incorporate a lot of job search activities in here. Right now you can kind of see just based on what we have in there, we have a lot of stuff for education, for schools and different things like that. So we're kind of wanting to expand its purposes and get some more resources put in there.
And it's available to any Illinois WorkNet user, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
And
so
I mean, this is available even if you don't have Illinois WorkNet or if you have other people in the office who you think this may benefit OER. I can put that the URL.
Olivia, how do they get to it?
That's what she's going to do right now.
Perfect.
Yep. They just go to this URL, then you'll create an account, and you can search our different resources. You can search libraries. You can search learning lists or learning sets. Our learning lists and learning sets are like compiled resources that kind of all relate together.
Aren't we making a list for ex-offenders? Isn't Lacey working on that one?
Yeah, I believe she is.
So this it's just a whole compilation of great links and great resources. And what's really nice about this is, doesn't this work so that if a link is bad, it removes the resource?
Yeah, we have a link checker that will remove any like outdated things or let us know. Some go bad often, and I think we have it set so it doesn't delete them. It just notifies us so we can get it fixed or updated. But yeah, it was really great at making sure the information is current and valid and it's not broken junk
And
material.
this is only available on web. It's not an app yet, correct?
Correct.
And is it, what's the word? I just thought about what the word is. Is it, does it adjust for mobile viewing or tablet
Yes,
viewing?
it
Okay.
sure does.
And I know there's an actual word for that, and I design websites, and I cannot remember what the word is right now.
And if
okay.
you guys have any questions, if you get into it and you have some questions, you can email me, and I can do my best to answer them. This is not one of my main projects, but I do work with a girl here in the office, Scarlett, who will be able to help if you have any more, maybe some more advanced questions. I can send you on to her.
All right, and I just put a really catty comment in there, Nancy, but why didn't you go to the link and check? She wanted to know if people can get to Khan Academy from there. So
I bet. I'm sure it's a type of resource. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got all sorts of them.
all right.
But
yeah,
what you
so
do, just so you guys know, because it can be a little confusing when you're coming in for the first time, when you click on a resource initially, it is going to open up into this page, and it's going to show you all the tags. And we've associated different learning standards. This is more, again, for the educational purposes if you're a teacher and you have certain things you have to meet with your curriculum. And then we also show you more that are like the one you selected. But then if you click the link that is at the top of that page, then it will take you either into the learning set or a list if that is it. And if it's not, it's just going to take you directly to the URL.
all right. So what I'm going to do, I think that we are done with the agenda items, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this pod open so that you can add additional things to our item, and then we'll collect those as we go. Excuse me, but if there's certain things that you use or that you're looking for, you can always check our OER. And what does OER actually stand for?
Open
Educational resources?
Yeah, Open Educational Resources.
Okay. So I think we're going to add these two typing tutors, and I think GCF Learn Free. It's the Goodwill Foundation website, has all kinds of learning things. So if you guys know of anything else, I see somebody put in training certifications. Looks like a computer training one, so I bet Kelsey or Carmen put that one in. And anybody else?
And I have a question. Do any of you guys use the Secretary of State's literacy programs? We've had conversations of resources available for individuals that are under 6th grade reading level, and they're really not appropriate for bridge programs. And what's available for individuals that may come in for, say, a 3rd or 4th grade reading level that are adult learners.
And what is that resource? Tammy, do you want to type that in the chat pod?
Yeah, I don't have the actual. It's a Secretary of State literacy. There's 3 different options. One's for workplace education. One is for training volunteers. And I have a call into them, but I haven't gotten any information on that yet. So we're going to follow up on that, too.
All right. I see adult literacy volunteer tutor training.
And that would
Family
be one of them.
literacy story kits. All right. So if you find out more, then we'll share it in the next webinar.
Sounds good.
All right. Now, unfortunately, we've discovered that you can only add one item into this list, into this poll list. So if you have more than one thing and want to just keep typing, you can always just